Welcome back, one and all, to another movie chest. This week we got some pretty deep sci-fi. This was my
Yes.
pick, so I'm into sci-fi. I'll watch any sci-fi movie with like a little bit more enjoyment than most, I'd say. Um, so when this one was drawn, there were a lot of other better picks, obviously, but I just something called for this one. It's early Emmerich, Roland Emmerich. I don't know. I just wanted to see kind of what he was about back when he was still doing some half sane shit. I don't know.
For the
So
disaster genre
before it
setting.
just got too schlocky.
Yeah.
So yeah, Stargate, 1994. It's written by Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich, directed by Roland Emmerich, starring Kurt Russell, James Spader. Pretty good combo, I thought.
Yeah.
I'm curious, kind of where you guys land on this movie, because I don't know. I expected to be like pooping on this movie left and right, but I kind of enjoyed this one. I don't know. What you guys think?
I
Yeah,
have
no,
some gripes, but
it was.
overall I enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, it was just a fun movie. I think. I mean, for '94. Speaking of, we were talking about CGI and stuff. Like when they first
Yeah.
opened the Stargate, I was like, "Damn, that looks fucking good." For
Badass.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, "Wow, I like
Yeah.
that."
Cool ass effect.
If only
Um
they could carry that through with the helmets when they retracted the helmets off,
Yeah.
off,
yeah.
off of
Yeah.
them. But
To me, I felt
Mm.
like the punkiness, the punky sci-fi of this, like the '90s shit, like some Total Recall type punky sci-fi. It's not like
Yeah.
Kubrick, like 2001 sci-fi, where it's like
mm,
moody and heady. It's like more like premise based and like objective based on like story. You know what I'm saying? Like or like
mhm,
paying off something of a sci-fi premise, kind of.
yeah,
Because the premise is pretty cool. I mean, obviously, it's a
Great setup, I
that's
think.
a
I
dope
think like
premise, and it's been used before. I think in like The Fifth Element. If you've seen The Fifth Element with Bruce Willis, I think
I've
it's like
not.
97, 98. Like
I've not
ancient
seen that. No.
Egyptians, kind of like first contact with aliens type. That one's a
Yeah,
little more crazy. It's like Luc Besson going a little more nuts with it all. This one like felt very contained and like focused.
it
It's
did.
it's like action
Yeah.
oriented. It's like blockbuster oriented a little more. Kind of feel. I don't
Mhm.
know.
This was like Roland Emmerich's taste into how many ways the world can end. And then from this point on, he was just like, "All right, let's destroy the world as many ways as possible."
Mm-hmm.
Um, this was the more tasteful one, though. I think I had no idea he
Yeah.
did the Patriot. That's one that's like
Oh,
way off the
I haven't seen that one, but yeah, that's
really.
totally
yeah, me neither.
outside what I would think
It
for him.
is,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I really liked the movie, but I didn't know he did it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think the '90s camp really did it for me. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of the campy stuff. Kurt Russell, his one liner there when he sends the guy's head up or whatever. I was like, nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Give my regards to
Tell
King Tut,
yeah,
asshole.
Yeah.
Fucking great.
it was good. I mean, it was a little dramatic there at the beginning when we introduced Kurt Russell's character. He's just sitting in a bedroom with a gun, long
Yeah.
hair, and just like,
Yeah.
okay, this is heavy. And then suddenly he's the general with a brand new hairdo, but but yeah, no, it was a fun movie. I mean, I don't really know what in-depth things you can take from it
Mm-hmm.
besides just have a good time. It's one of those where
Yeah.
you don't see these very often nowadays, which is kind of nice because it's just one of those that you can just sit down, watch, have a good time, and you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tune
there's
in and
that.
tune out kinda. Yeah.
That's kind of how I
There's
felt. I was like charming to me. It was like charming
so
me
much charm.
over, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
and like I said, I was like looking for shit to kind of like poop on, but it didn't really ever give me like a reason to hate it. It just kind of
Right.
was, and like getting by and getting what needed to be done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I was like looking for like reasons why it was bad, and it was mostly just like the oldness of it. Obviously, it doesn't translate fully, but no, I mean, I don't really think that there's like a huge flaw in this movie other than just like campy. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but like the characters actually feel like somewhat grounded in this blockbuster. Like Kurt Russell's character, I
Yeah.
thought actually had a nice turn. He's like clearly stone faced. He's like he's when he teaches the kid how to like smoke a cig and he's like showing his lighter. It shows you like he's like a military man obviously, and this is
Yeah.
he's Russell. He's fucking gruff and but then it like shows you later why he gave his lighter away. He's basically on a suicide mission. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He's like he
Yeah.
doesn't care. He's done. He's like take it or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. It's like the character's tracked, and I kind of waited for them to go to like the cheesy direction or like the hammy direction where they're like
Mhm.
killing the beast or like just murdering like civilians and stuff like that. But it kind of took like even a more tasteful approach on the military characters, even to me, where Kurt
Yeah.
Russell's a little more grounded. He even like he's helping them at the end on
Mhm.
an objective together. And even like the soldiers that were kind of just like background or dumb or
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're even like them and
Nice
towards the
touches.
end they're like covering people from like gunfire, like villagers and stuff. I don't know. I mean, like I would expect like a movie to be worse than that, especially in its like nuanced. It doesn't like show you the nuance of how it got there, but it's there. So it's like
Yeah.
it's enough, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think other like something if someone else had tackled this or different people behind it, like they would have treated them maybe with a little less respect. And like all these characters, I think, are like you can respect and like them. You can kind of like get behind them all. You know, like they're all even James Spader, the dweeb character, like he's enough of like
I
he
liked him.
plays that pretty well. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I got
yeah,
major Atlantis vibes immediately
dude.
watching this movie. I don't know if
I
you
thought
guys
I was
got
like
that.
while I was watching this, I was like, dude, this is a mix of Atlantis, like with this music and everything. I was like, I'm getting like Indiana Jones vibes here. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
there's some cool stuff, like a
But
mix of stuff.
I
This one.
swear, man, Atlantis might have like plagiarized some of this shit because like even like the look of the main character is straight up like Milo from Atlantis, like
Mhm.
down to
True.
like him carrying the maps in the room. That almost it felt like
Yeah, dude.
distinctly that, and then like the military side of it, the expedition that meets with him to get Kurt
Yeah.
Russell's like the stoic, chiseled fucking. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I got huge Atlantis vibes. And I enjoyed it. It made me kind of want to watch Atlantis more too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Well, this has like its tentacles are out there. I mean, there's the Stargate show. And that was like the
Yeah.
first time a show was ever bought with like, I think it was like an exuberant amount of episodes before they even saw the pilot. Like they just ordered it.
Hmm.
And I mean, the lead guy, Kurt Russell's, I'm assuming the guy who's like basically Kurt Russell in the series, he's like considered one of the most iconic TV badasses and stuff. So, I mean, I've never watched the show. I just remember it always playing on Sci-Fi. So,
yeah, I wonder.
but I had no idea
wonder-
this came after the movie. So that's kind of
Right.
interesting.
Yeah, so-
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, and it's worth checking out that show. I don't know.
Some of the weaknesses of this movie were like predictability,
Right.
and just kind of like blandness in especially the villain for me. I kind of wanted like it's the
Yeah.
ancient Egyptian of it all, and it's like the lore is there with the King Ra or God Ra, and like it's there, but like the villains don't really do anything that's distinct enough to make them just outside of like a faceless like
Yeah.
power
Yeah.
fueled and like power filled like character. It's just like I don't really even like remember what the character was about for the villain of it all. I just like I kind of wish that it felt cooler. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I felt the same. I mean, I thought it was a cool concept of, aliens, keeping its body, the preserving of it and all that stuff. But I
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
kind of felt weak and forgettable.
It didn't live up
Yeah.
to it all at the end.
It
By the
didn't,
end of it,
no.
like it kind of
Yeah.
just petered out towards like classic good versus evil fight
Right.
scenarios. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, there could have been more development for him for sure. The only thing that like stood out to me that I was like, oh, this guy's a little bit cold was like the human shield of children like around him. I was like, this guy's fucked up, man. Like just keep the kids around. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, other than that, there was not much like whatever. Some
Yeah.
depth of character for him.
Yeah.
One little nitpick I have is they knew that the Stargate opened up like on the other side of a galaxy, right? They just kind of walked in without any breathing apparatus. They're just expecting this
think
planet to
They said the
be breathable.
atmosphere matches at the
Oh, did they?
beginning.
Okay, maybe I missed that.
It's a
Okay.
quick line of just like we can breathe. You know, like.
I was just curious when they all stepped out. I'm like, wow, bold move, but okay, it worked out for
Well,
you.
I was like, they should have sent more fucking people in here, right? I guess it makes sense if it's a suicide mission. But I kind of overall, I felt like I wanted to like cut back to what was happening back on Earth a
Yeah.
couple times.
Yeah.
But then by the end of it, I was like, probably shouldn't have done that because if you have any like B plot on this movie, it might have dragged it down. I don't know.
It might have.
It could have done better, but I don't know if it would have. You know, like
Yeah. I think it pays off by being what it was and kind of simple,
Yeah.
So
it at least
bogging it down with that, like you said, the B side of it would probably just make it less
too
enjoyable.
much. Probably have to have like some
Yeah.
dumb character over there. You have to try to like rarely a story behind, kind of. At least it like just tries to immerse you in the story by like once you're through the gate, you're just with this story now, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I considered maybe they could have, if there had been a B story, like they could have done like the arrival on Earth stuff, you know, like followed the first civilization that made contact with them, or like the dude who became the host for the alien guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But again, that's like you get a lot of the lore kind of naturally throughout the rest of the movie, anyways.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I thought the warp sequence was pretty cool too. It was kind of lacking overall for our modern tastes, obviously. It like starts really good and then starts to like get worse. Like the two like blue roads above and below or whatever. It's just like, yeah, well, okay, you know, but and it ends on it too, so it's not as cool of an ending as it could have been. Like I'm sure if you're you're sitting there in the theater in the '90s, you're like, holy, we just fucking went through space, dude. But
it was wild.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of glad we got through this one. I might say that this is like, because after this, Roland Emmerich goes and makes Independence Day, and that's like basically his most revered movie, I'd say, by most people. It's probably his best one, I'd say, even though I don't find it to be like a perfect movie by any means.
You think it's his best one? Independence Day?
What would you say is a better one?
Well, The Patriot, but also, I mean, The Day After Tomorrow.
Day After Tomorrow's fun.
yeah, like that.
Independence Day has got its own magic somehow. It's like the perfect confluence of like him in the '90s. Because like this one, I think is like almost right up there with Independence Day for me, as like bold and like achieved what he set out to do, and like sci-fi craziness and like still contained. I don't know. This one is like it's like he's hitting a quality patch here in the '90s that I was glad to see, and it's not gonna last forever, clearly, but
yeah,
dude, like the costume design, all the sets
were great.
All that stuff.
I think there was like model work and stuff too. It looked like probably like some simple just
miniature
trickery
stuff going on.
Yeah.
God bless practical effects.
Right?
They were utilizing their fullest like budgets and potential in the '90s, you know, and all their tricks and stuff. So it's good to see. It was cool. Yeah, had a good time. There's some good sci-fi. It does make me kind of want to watch the show, but I don't know if I'd be able to get into it. We'll see.
I thought that too, but there's like 235 episodes, so I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'll just pretend I watched it.
Yeah, I'll read the synopsis one day. Just scroll through that for an hour or something.
I'll read all the trivia on it and think, I think I know everything.
Yeah. But all right, yeah. Well, this was a good one. This was a fun one. I think if we had ratings, I don't know, I'd probably give it like 3 or 3.5, somewhere in there. You know,
it's about where I landed. Was 3.
Yeah, same. Yeah, 3.
Yeah, a little bit more positive than I thought it would. So that's kind of nice to see. But yeah,
for sure.
See what happens with the next one. Join us for the next movie chest, guys.
Yeah, stay gold.
Stay gold.
Stay gold.